What is the meaning of this?
I already love somebody.
You belong with me.
No, I choose him.
The first time Tina saw Likan cry, it was not because of pain. It was because somebody finally believed in him. And honestly, that moment was what made the whole neighborhood start talking. Because before Tina entered Likan's life, people used to laugh at him openly. Not quietly, not secretly, openly. Lekan was the kind of man society ignored without mercy. Grease-stained clothes, small roadside mechanic shop, rough palms, constant struggle. The type of guy women passed every day without looking twice. But there was something soft about him, something painfully genuine, and Tina noticed it immediately. She wasn't rich either, but compared to Likan, her life looked luxurious. She worked at a small hair salon in Lagos Island, always neat, always smiling, always carrying herself like somebody who still believed love could exist without money. That belief became her biggest problem because Tina had another man chasing her, a very rich man, Chief Daramola. Older, married, connected. The type of man who solved. Especially in Lagos, where survival sometimes forces people into difficult choices. But Tina shocked everybody. She chose Lekan instead. And the moment she publicly rejected Chief Daramola at a birthday party, the atmosphere changed instantly. The music was still playing, people were still dancing, but the smile on Chief Daramola's face disappeared slowly. That kind of slow smile removal that makes a room uncomfortable. Even the waiters noticed it. Because powerful men hate embarrassment more than rejection itself, especially when the rejection happens in front of people. And the painful part, Tina did not reject him rudely. She simply held Likan's hand and said, I already love somebody. Simple, soft, respectful. But that sentence bruised Chief Daramola's pride in ways nobody could see. After that night, strange things started happening. Customers suddenly stopped coming to Likan's mechanic shop. Tina's boss reduced her work hours mysteriously. Rent problems appeared from nowhere. Even neighbors began whispering, love does not pay bills. That poor mechanic will suffer with her. She should have chosen security. And slowly, pressure entered the relationship like smoke under a locked door. But the real problem started the night Tina discovered something hidden inside Lekan's old toolbox. Bundles of cash, foreign currency, documents with another name, and a photo of Lekan standing beside an expensive car she had never seen before. That was the night Tina realized something terrifying. The poor mechanic she was struggling to protect might not actually be poor. And the worst part, Lekan had been lying to her from the very beginning. Loud party music, glasses clinking softly. The entire rooftop party went quiet the moment Tina grabbed Lekan's hand. Not fully quiet, just enough for tension to enter the air. Chief Daramola stood frozen beside the champagne table. Expensive white agbada, gold wristwatch flashing under the city lights, smile slowly disappearing. And Tina, she was still holding Lekan's grease-stained fingers tightly. I already love someone, she said softly. People exchanged looks immediately, because nobody expected her to choose the mechanic, not over a man like Chief Daramola. Lekan himself looked shocked, like he didn't fully believe what was happening. His throat moved slightly, eyes fixed on Tina, because maybe part of him expected her to change her mind too. Then suddenly Chief Daramola laughed, too calmly, too softly. That boy. The insult landed heavily. Some guests chuckled nervously. Others looked away awkwardly. But Tina didn't move. And that public humiliation, it planted something dangerous inside Chief Daramola that night. 3 days later, Lekan sat outside his mechanic shop staring at an empty road. No customers, no calls, nothing. The afternoon heat pressed heavily against his skin while sweat rolled slowly down his neck. Something felt wrong, too wrong, because his workshop was never this empty. Then his apprentice walked closer nervously. Olga, Lekan looked up slowly. I heard something. Pause. They said Chief Daramola warned people not to come here. Lekan's jaw tightened instantly. His fingers curled slowly around the dirty rag in his hand. Not anger. Worse. Fear, because men like Chief Daramola did not fight fairly. They destroyed people quietly. And suddenly, choosing love had become expensive. Soft romantic music that night. Tina sat beside Lekan outside his tiny apartment, eating roasted corn under yellow streetlights. Cars passed slowly nearby. Warm Lagos wind moved gently through her braid. And for a moment, life felt peaceful again. You regret choosing me? Lekan asked quietly. Tina looked at him immediately. No, you didn't even think before answering. Because I already know. Lekan smiled faintly, but something behind that smile felt heavy, like a man carrying invisible weight. Then suddenly Tina glanced at the screen. A known number. She ignored it. The phone rang again immediately. Then again and again. Finally she answered. Silence. Then Chief Daramola's voice entered slowly. You're suffering already. Tina's stomach tightened instantly. I warned you. She ended the call immediately, but seconds later, a message entered her phone. A photo. A photo. Her heartbeat stopped because the picture showed Lekan talking to another woman beside a luxury black SUV, and the woman was touching his face intimately. Tina stared at the image silently, her chest tightening slowly, because suddenly nothing made sense anymore. Rain falling softly. Lekan entered the apartment soaked from rain. Immediately he noticed Tina's expression. Still cold, wrong. What happened? She quietly held up the phone. And the moment Lekan saw the picture, his face changed completely. Not confusion. Recognition. Real recognition. Who is she? Tina asked softly. Lekan didn't answer immediately. And that silence hurt more than any explanation. Finally, she's nobody. Tina laughed painfully. Nobody touches somebody's face like that. Rain hammered the zinc roof harder. The small room suddenly felt suffocating. Then Tina noticed something else. Lekan looked scared, not guilty. Scared. Tell me the truth. Her voice cracked slightly. Who are you really? Long silence. Then Lekan walked toward his old toolbox slowly, opened it, and removed bundles of foreign currency carefully. Tina froze instantly. Then came passports, documents, another name, and finally a photograph. Lekan standing beside a mansion, wearing an expensive suit, smiling beside luxury cars. Tina stepped backward slowly because the man she thought she knew was disappearing right in front of her eyes. My real name is Adewale. Tina's breathing became uneven instantly. What? Lekan lowered his head. Years ago, he came from one of the richest families in Abuja. Money, power, luxury, everything. Until his older brothers betrayed him after their father died. They tried to kill me. Tina's eyes widened slowly. They wanted the company to lead. His voice sounded tired now, broken, like somebody reopening old wounds. So I disappeared. The room fell silent except for rain hitting the windows. And suddenly, Tina understood everything. The hidden money, the fake identity, the fear, even the sadness behind his smile. I became Likan because Adewale was dangerous. Then suddenly, loud banging on door. Both of them froze instantly. Another bang, harder. Likan's expression changed immediately, pure panic. Stay behind me. The banging became violent now. Voices shouting outside, men. At least 4. Then came the sentence that made Tina's blood run cold. We know you're inside, Adewale. Heavy breathing, Tina's hand shook uncontrollably because now she realized something horrifying. Chief Daramola was never the real danger. The danger had been living beside her the entire time. Lekan moved quickly toward the back window. They found me too soon. Another violent bang shook the apartment door, wood cracking loudly. Who are they? Tina whispered. Lekan looked at her carefully. My brothers. Outside, thunder exploded across the Lagos sky, and suddenly the lights went out. The apartment became completely dark except for flashes of lightning. Tina could barely hear her own breathing now. Then, door breaking open, men rushed inside. Heavy footsteps, dark figures moving through shadows. Tina screamed as Lekan grabbed her hand instantly. Run. Hand Motwan Tina. They escaped through the tiny back window into heavy rain. Barefoot, breathing hard, running through muddy streets while headlights searched behind them. Tina's chest burned painfully, because this was no longer about romance. This was survival. Suddenly, a black SUV stopped directly in front of them, headlights blinding their faces. And slowly Chief Daramola stepped out, umbrella above his head, perfectly calm. Then he smiled. I told you, he said softly. Pause. You chose the wrong man. Tina could barely breathe. Rainwater soaked through her dress while headlights blinded her eyes. Chief Daramola stood in front of them calmly, like a man who already knew how the night would end. And behind him, 3 black SUVs slowly pulled up. Lekan's grip tightened around Tina's wrist instantly. Not aggressive, protective, but she felt the fear inside his hand. Real fear. The kind powerful men tried desperately to hide. Chief Daramola smiled softly. You should have stayed hidden, Adewale. Thunder crashing. Tina looked at Lekan immediately. Adewale. That name suddenly sounded dangerous now. Heavy, expensive, deadly. Lekan stepped slightly in front of her. What do you want? Chief Daramola laughed quietly. That question is funny, coming from somebody whose family stole from mine. Tina's stomach tightened instantly, because now she understood something terrifying. These men did not just know each other. Their history was deep, ugly, personal. Then suddenly, the CV doors opened. Men stepped out slowly in black suits. Not street thugs, professional, cold faces, silent movements. Tina's heartbeat pounded painfully, because this no longer looked like family drama. This looked like war. Chief Daramola moved closer carefully, rain dripping from his expensive agbada. You disappeared for 3 years. Pause. And suddenly you return because of a girl. Lekan's jaw tightened. I never came back. No. Chief Daramola smiled. Then why are your brothers searching every port in Lagos for you? Tina looked between them in confusion. What's happening? But nobody answered her immediately. Then suddenly Chief Daramola pulled out his phone, turned the screen toward Tina, and her blood ran cold instantly, because the screen showed Lekan's face on a business magazine cover. Expensive suit, luxury cars behind him, and the headline read, "Missing Billionaire heir still unfound." Years ago. Tina stepped backwards slowly, rain mixing with tears on her face. Because now, the poor mechanic she fell in love with no longer existed. Lekan noticed her expression immediately. Tina, you lied to me. Her voice cracked painfully. You watched me suffer with you. Pause. When you had all this... Chief Daramola smiled quietly. Because this was the exact moment he wanted. Division. But then his expression changed suddenly. One of the suited men whispered something into his ear, and immediately Chief Daramola looked toward the road sharply. Another convoy was approaching, fast, too fast. Lekan's face drained of color instantly. My brothers. Tina turned. Black vehicles sped through the rain toward them violently. Headlights flashing, engines roaring, and suddenly everybody moved at once. Tires screeching. Chief Daramola grabbed Tina roughly. Get in the car. Lekan lunged immediately, punching one of the guards hard enough to send him crashing into the SUV. Chaos exploded across the street instantly. Rain, shouting, car horns, running footsteps. Tina screamed as gunshots echoed somewhere nearby. Loud gunshots in distance, not close enough to show blood, but close enough to terrify everybody. Lekan grabbed her hand again. Run! They sprinted into a crowded Lagos market street while people scattered in panic around them. Neon lights reflected across wet roads. Music blasted from distant bars. And behind them, SUV headlights kept searching. Tina's lungs burned painfully now, because her entire world had collapsed within minutes. Suddenly, Lekan pulled her into a tiny closed fabric shop, both breathing heavily, rain dripping from their bodies. Tina pushed him back angrily. Who are you? Her voice echoed loudly inside the tiny shop. Lekan looked shattered now, not arrogant, not powerful, just tired. My father owned half the oil shipping routes in West Africa. Tina froze silently. When he died, pause. My brothers tried to erase me. The rain outside intensified, and for the first time, Lekan finally told her the full truth. Years ago, after refusing to sign over his inheritance shares, someone poisoned his car brakes. The accident nearly killed him, but instead of dying, he disappeared. I became Lacan because Adaway was hunted. Tina's breathing slowed painfully because now she understood something heartbreaking. He did not become poor for fun. He ran for survival. Then suddenly, phone buzzing. Lacan checked the screen and his expression changed immediately. "What?" Tina whispered nervously. Lacan looked at her slowly. "There's a leak inside my family." Meaning, he swallowed hard. "Somebody close to me helped them find us." Then his phone buzzed again. Another message. This time, the color disappeared completely from his face. Tina grabbed the phone quickly and immediately froze because the message contained only 4 words. "She will die first. Soft hospital monitor beeping." Tina woke up slowly. Bright white ceiling lights above her. Her head pounding painfully. For a second, nothing made sense. Then memory crashed back violently. Rain, UVs, threats, Lacan. She sat upright instantly. Lacan. A nurse rushed toward her quickly. "Please calm down." "Where is he?" The nurse hesitated, and that hesitation alone terrified Tina. Then suddenly, the hospital room door opened slowly, and Chief Daramola entered. Tina's body stiffened immediately, because somehow he looked different now. Less arrogant, more serious. "You're safe here," he said quietly. Tina stared at him in disbelief. "You caused all this?" Chief Daramola sighed deeply. "No." Pause. "I tried to stop it." Silence. Tina laughed bitterly. "You threatened us." "I threatened him because staying close to you exposed you." Her anger faltered slightly, because his voice sounded genuine now. Too genuine. Then he finally revealed the truth. Years ago, Chief Daramola and Lacan's father were business partners, close friends, almost brothers. But after the old man died, the family empire became war. "Your boyfriend's brothers are dangerous men." His expression darkened. "And now they know he's alive." Greed destroyed everything. Tina's stomach twisted painfully. "Where is Lacan?" Chief Daramola looked away briefly, and suddenly fear entered her chest again. He surrendered himself. "No, he did it to protect you." Tina jumped off the hospital bed immediately. "No. If you go near them now." Pause. "You disappear too." Meanwhile, Lacan sat silently inside a massive glass office overlooking Lagos City. Luxury surrounded him again, but he looked miserable. Across from him sat his older brother, Akin, cold eyes, perfect suit, smile that never reached his face. "You should have stayed missing." Lacan said nothing. Akin poured himself expensive whiskey calmly. "You embarrassed the family." Pause. "Running around Lagos, pretending to be poor." Lacan finally spoke quietly. "At least poor people loved me honestly." That sentence changed the atmosphere instantly, because beneath all the luxury, the brothers hated one thing deeply. Lacan was still their father's favorite son, even after disappearing. Then Akin leaned forward slowly. "Where is the girl?" Lacan's jaw tightened immediately. "Leave her out of this." Akin's smile dangerous. "Oh, pause. So you really love her?" And suddenly Lekan realized Tina was now their weakness to exploit. Meanwhile, Tina sat alone in the hospital room crying silently. Because now everything hurt differently. Not because Lekan lied, but because she finally understood why. Then suddenly, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered carefully. Silence, then Lekan's voice. Weak, tired. I'm sorry. Tears rolled down Tina's face instantly. Where are you? Listen carefully. His breathing sounded uneven. If anything happens to me, pause. Don't trust a kin. Lekan. If anything happens to me, pause. Don't trust a kin. Tina froze instantly. Because the voice was not akin, the call disconnected immediately. Tina stared at the screen in horror, because now she realized something even worse. There was somebody above akin, somebody more dangerous, somebody Lekan truly feared. And deep inside Lagos that night, Lekan sat quietly realizing the terrifying truth. His disappearance had not ended the war, it only delayed it, and now the people hunting him were finally ready to finish what they started. Lekan did not sleep that night. He sat alone inside the luxury penthouse, staring at Lagos lights through the glass walls, while Tina's last voice message played repeatedly in his head. I still believe in you. 3 simple words, but somehow they hurt more than betrayal ever could. Because after everything, Tina still chose him. Meanwhile, Tina sat quietly inside Chief Daramola's private guest house. Safe, protected, but restless. Something inside her kept whispering the same thing over and over again. Then slowly, it changed. What happened? Tina asked nervously. Chief Daramola looked at her carefully, then spoke quietly. They're preparing documents to declare Lekan mentally unstable. Tina froze instantly because she finally understood the plan. If Lekan lost control of the company publicly, his brothers would inherit everything permanently. They don't just want the money, Chief Daramola continued. They want to erase him completely. That was the exact moment Tina made her decision. No. She stood up immediately. I'm going to him. Chief Daramola sighed deeply. You're stubborn. And you talk too much. For the first time, Chief Daramola laughed genuinely. Small, soft, almost fatherly. Hours later, Lekan walked slowly into his family's massive corporate gala. Expensive chandeliers glowed above him. Politicians, celebrities, business investors. Everybody pretending nothing was wrong. But the tension inside the room felt poisonous. Because news about the missing billionaire heir had already spread everywhere. And tonight, the family planned to destroy him publicly. Akin stood near the stage smiling confidently. Perfect white suit. Perfect fake smile. Perfect villain. Then he raised his champagne glass to family. He announced loudly. People clapped politely. But Lekan saw it immediately. Security men positioned around the ballroom. Lawyers seated near the front, prepared documents already waiting. This was an execution, not a celebration. Then suddenly, the ballroom doors opened. Everybody turned instantly, and Tina walked inside, elegant gold dress, braided hair flowing softly behind her, confidence shining across her face. Likan froze completely because for the first time in years, he looked hopeful. Whispers spread instantly across the room. That's the girl, the mechanic's girlfriend. She came. Akin's smile disappeared immediately because Tina's presence ruined everything. Lekan no longer looked like a broken runaway heir. He looked human again, loved again. Tina walked directly toward him slowly, then held his hand in front of everybody exactly the same way she did the night she first chose him. And suddenly, the entire room shifted. Akin laughed coldly. You really brought this roadside girl here. Before Lekan could react, Tina answered calmly. At least I came with honesty. Akin's expression darkened instantly. Then suddenly, Chief Daramola entered behind her, and the entire ballroom became silent because everybody respected him, feared him. Even Akin looked uncomfortable now. Chief Daramola walked toward the stage slowly, then removed the thick envelope calmly. I think the guests deserve the truth. Lekan frowned slightly. What truth? Akin panicked immediately. You planned this. Chief Daramola looked tired now. No, pause. Your greed planned this. As officers dragged Akin away screaming, Lekan stood frozen because after years of hiding, running, suffering, it was finally over. Then slowly he turned toward Tina, eyes full of emotion, disbelief, relief, love. You stayed, he whispered. Tina smiled softly through tears. You fix cars for strangers every day. Pause. So why wouldn't I fight for you? Lekan laughed for the first time in years. A real laugh. Chief Daramola looked directly at Akin, then spoke clearly. Your father did not remove Lekan from the inheritance before his death. Silence exploded across the ballroom. What? Lekan whispered. Chief Daramola opened the envelope carefully. Inside were original signed documents, protected secretly for years. Akin forged everything. The ballroom erupted instantly. Shouting, whispers, confusion everywhere. Akin's calmness finally broke. You old fool. No, Chief Daramola interrupted sharply. I stayed silent too long already. Then came the final blow. Security officers entered the ballroom, not private guards, real authorities. Because Chief Daramola had secretly been investigating the brothers for years. Money laundering, fraud, corporate theft, everything. 3 months later, the old roadside mechanic shop still stood in Lagos. But now it looked different, cleaner, brighter, bigger. Not because Lekan needed the money, but because he refused to forget the life that saved him. And every evening, Tina still sat beside him outside the shop eating roasted corn while Lagos traffic moved around them. Just like before, only now. There was peace. One sunset, Lekan pulled Tina closer gently, the city glowing behind them beautifully. And for the first time since they met, nobody was chasing them anymore.